right, kids, unhappy Wednesday. Coming to you live from our humble abode. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us, as always, from wherever you may be and whatever device you're using to stream us on YouTube. So please pull up a chair, turn that volume up if I'm not quite loud enough for you. Use the company dime if, God forbid, you're still stuck at work. Crack open a cold one if that's your thing on a Wednesday night. And let's try to have some fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Dev, Keenan, Lou Mancini, what's up, fellas? There's my buttercup. Nice. Real nice. Appreciate the intro, fellas. Boy, what are we going to talk about tonight? I just can't imagine what's on everybody's mind. We're going to get that StreamYard link up for you when we get to talking about the game this past weekend because, I mean, look, if any of our Midwest Eagles Nest folks jump in here who were with us this past Sunday, I will tell you right now, when that kick got blocked, man, at the end of the game, it was a mosh pit in the middle of that freaking floor, dude. It was out of control. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about all kinds of other shit we'll get to next week. And yeah, a little bit of college football in there too. Got some big games on Saturday. Josh will not be joining me this weekend. He is out of town. Little bit of a bummer because, you know, we got a great slate of games this weekend, but that's life and it goes on. How the hell are all of you? Michelle is not quite home yet. I usually like for her to be here when I read her favorite part of the show. But be that as it may, we're going to go ahead and get off and rolling here. Let's get down to the business of things. Folks, we are proudly sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Just minutes away from the sports complex, Cheerleaders brings you the area's most beautiful women on 5 different stages. Open 7 days a week from noon until 2 a.m. and until 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. For group information, call 215-467-1980. Also offering free parking, a full menu, daily drink and food specials, and a premium selection of cigars and a cigar lounge. If you're looking for a place to watch your game and you can't get out to the bank and you don't want to sell a kidney to get tickets to the Birds, head on over to Cheerleaders and enjoy the 75-foot HD TV wall, as well as HD TV screens throughout the entire club. Once again, folks, that's Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philly. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. Yeah, Michelle's not here to hear it right now, and I doubt she has that on while she's at Target. So, as always, kids, bottom of your screen, greenlegion.com. Always scrolling at the bottom of the screen whenever we are live here. And it is what it is, folks. You want to get out on the road and catch the Birds somewhere away from Philadelphia. greenlegion.com. Click on trips and tailgates. Find the trip you want to go on. If it does not say sold out, book it. You will never not be disappointed. You will never be disappointed. I promise, right? I will promise you that. Can't always promise you the outcome of the game, but we can't always promise you a kick-ass time with the best in the business. And that's not just road games, folks. If you're looking for a home tailgate in Philly, look no further. greenlegion.com. Click on trips and tailgates. Go to home tailgates. Find the game you want to tailgate for. Book it away as long as it does not say sold out. You are talking about a 4-hour spread with another 1,000 Birds fans at 1100 Social, Xfinity Live, right down at the sports complex. 4 hours, all you can eat, all you can drink, and also featuring the Green Legion Fox Sports pregame show with the usual cast of characters there. Don't miss out on any of that. Absolutely fantastic time. Never a dull moment with the Green Legion. always a blast. You can talk to Keenan Harmon, a few other folks who've been out on the road with us or at home in Philly. It is always top of the line. Expect nothing less. GreenLegion.com, folks, right at the bottom of your screen. Book away, as long as it doesn't say sold out. If you're looking to come out on the road, you want to hang with me out on the road this year, I will be in Minneapolis next month for the game against the Vikings. That is, when do I fly out? I fly out on the Friday. The trip is Saturday through Tuesday. I will be there October 17th, getting in and coming back on Tuesday, October 21st. That's me just solo with the Green Legion. If you wanted to hang with Michelle and I, we will be in Dallas the weekend before Thanksgiving. Kelly Green on the road in Dallas this year. Getting into town down there on Friday, November 21st, heading back home on Tuesday, November 25th. Those are your opportunities to catch my fat ass, not as fat ass, but still fat ass, out on the road this year. And if you wanted to hang with Michelle as well, it would be in Dallas. Book away, folks. As long as it doesn't say sold out, jump on board and let's do this. All right, over to the room. Who do we got here? What's going on? What's up, brother? Bryant in the house. Sam down in Kentucky. How you doing, darling? Keenan wants to know, I want to know who called the offense in the second half. Nick, Petula, Hurts, or was it Gilmore phoning in? Lou Mancini. Keenan, what up today? All right, here we go. Russ Taylor in the room. Yo, what's happening? All right. Doing all right here. Russ says, I made an appearance and saw Sam. Oh, good. Always awesome. Samantha, cleaning your car. Well, we appreciate you tuning in while you're doing that. So, I did not go with a run sheet this week. I didn't think there was really a need to. Not concentrating much on any kind of boner of the week here. We can just give it to the Rams offensive line if you'd like, especially on special teams. 2 blocked field goals for our beloved Birds. I don't remember a time when I saw anything like that. And I haven't bothered to look it up. I don't know if the Birds have ever blocked 2 field goals in a game, at least not in the modern era. And especially the way that one ended. Man. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview. So from the baseball front, before we get to football, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on baseball here, but National League playoffs not quite sewn up yet. The top 3 look to be pretty well locked in. Looks like the Brewers are going to take that top spot. Philly should be the number 2, Dodgers the 3. Then it comes down to your wild cards, where you have San Diego, Chicago, and that last spot. We came into this week, this last 6 games, with the Mets and Reds tied for the final wild card spot. Unfortunately, the Reds dropped a heartbreaker to the friggin' Pirates last night, while the Mets beat the Cubs. Arizona was only a game behind the 2 of them, and they actually managed to beat the Dodgers last night. So what you have now is the Mets with a 1-game lead over Cincinnati and Arizona for that final wild card spot in the National League. So to preface that just a little bit, this coming Sunday night, and before we get off and rolling here, last part of the business end of things, this coming Sunday night, we are going to do Heart of the Order podcast, episode 7, I think it is now. 7 or 8. And this is going to be our playoff preview. By the time we go on, everything should be pretty sewn up. We'll be able to make some calls, talk about who we think is going to come out of each league, who we think is going to win overall, maybe talk some, postseason awards as it comes to MVP. I know it's a hot topic on the American League side, whether it should be Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge. Overall, Aaron Judge is the better player. We all know it. However, Seattle Mariners are going to win the National League West, and Cal Raleigh is probably going to hit 60 home runs as a switch-hitting catcher. So while I get Aaron Judge has all the other statistics, batting average, on base percentage, slugging, yada, 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 walks, whatever, the season that Cal Raleigh has had from that catcher spot should really solidify. And the fact that the Mariners are going to win the National League West, That should be all it takes. But yeah, you can catch Green Legion Radio brethren of mine, Chris Sackmaster, 305 Sports Zone, Lou Dominguez, and yours truly, Unhappy Gilmore, this coming Sunday night, Heart of the Order podcast, as we talk about the upcoming October baseball. Always find a way to throw a little football in there too somehow, but plenty to talk about on the baseball front that evening as well. Don't have the time yet, guys. We'll get that all worked out. We'll try to tease it ahead of time as much as we can. But we got to be respectful of everyone's schedules too. So, and don't forget, we've also got the Birds playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So it's not going to be like early in the day. I'm hoping to be on here by about 6 o'clock on Sunday night, but we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know the time. Scott Calcaterra, what's going on? Russ Taylor, go back and watch that play. Those Rams players knew he was going to score. They made business. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Once he took off, they never bothered. And we're going to jump into that here right now. So there's your business end. We did the cheerleaders thing, talked Green Legion, Heart of the Order podcast this Sunday night, talking playoff baseball with my buddies, Chris Sack and Lou Dominguez. All right. Let's get down to it so we can get on through it. What is there to talk about? Look, guys, here's what I'll tell you. We're going to start with the first half, right? And let's just go ahead and do this now. I promised you I would do it, so I'm going to do it. And look, if you come join the room, I am not staying on here for more than an hour. All right? I gotta get on to some family stuff. So there is your link. Those of you who have done this before, you know what to do. Those of you who have not, you would if you want to hop in here, you would click that link or the name you want used. Like you see mine here says Unhappy Gilmore. It'll have you test your audio and video settings. And then once you commit to all that, it'll pop you into a virtual backstage where I'll see you at the bottom of the screen. I'll pull you on just as soon as I'm ready. All right. So if you want to do that, hop on in. We'll be here to talk some birds for a little while and then call it a night. So without further ado, 33-26 final. However, it's not like it was a seesaw battle, right? That first half was the same as the first two games from an offensive standpoint. Keenan, you can keep that to yourself. So, yeah, I would tell you the first 10 quarters of football that we have played this year have been pretty abysmal from an offensive standpoint. Now, Jalen ended up having a pretty solid game overall against Dallas. Nobody did shit against Kansas City. We'll pull you on here in just a minute, Nostradamus. Nobody did shit against Kansas City. And then the first half against the Rams was a dumpster fire. There are videos out there of Jalen Hurts on the sideline, looks to be yelling at Kevin Patullo and or Nick Sirianni. There are rumors of some tension in the locker room, we'll say, at halftime. I would like to believe that it was a cohesive effort and they decided to open things up. But what I will tell you, shadow of a doubt, is that Jalen Hurts deserves all of the credit for the performance on the field. Lou Mancini, what's happening, brother?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you
doing? The name I took, Nostradamus, was because I'm known. I go to my buddy's house every Sunday, pretty much, and we sit in his garage and have a blast. And I'm known for these bold predictions and outcomes, and most of it's BS. I mean, let's face it. I'm just there entertaining them, and both times I said, they're blocking this. They're blocking this. Oh my God, when it happened, it was crazy,
dude. So we come out second half. First half, not much to talk about, right? Defense did all it could, but when you leave your defense hanging out there to dry like that, they're going to give up points. It happens. So we go into halftime down 19-7. And then it's 26-7. And then here we go. Here comes the offense, and they open it up. And Jalen Hurts goes absolutely bananas in the second half. Throwing the ball all over the yard. AJ gets big time involved. Devontae's big time involved. That fucking touchdown to Devontae Smith on 4th and goal from the 5-yard line with under 2 minutes to go was legendary shit right there.
It was
ice water in the veins of both of them. And so you give us the lead, and then here come the Rams back the other way, and typical Matt Stafford gets them into position, and then it happened.
Yeah, that was.
So take us through. So take me through your experience of that entire second half.
Now, what was that again? I'm sorry.
Take me through how you guys were reacting that entire second half.
Oh, we were going crazy. I mean, the garage was rocking, and I mean, after that first half, honestly, going into this game, I thought to myself, this could definitely be an L, based on our production in the first 2 games. I mean, as great as it is to be 3-0, we could easily be 0-3 right now. You know.
That's very true. Very, very true. Totally agree.
So that second half was just like, oh, God. I mean, that last blocked field goal and Jordan taking it to the house, we were just loving each other. It was awesome. We have a guy that comes over, my buddy's neighbor. He's actually older than my pop. He's 82. And he's an old hippie and everything, but he's a Philly boy, German descent, and it's just a great time, man.
So we've got our nest up here, and I will tell you, each of the first 3 games we've had over 100 people come out. It's been a really good experience so far this year. That game on Sunday, so things started to pick up steam when we scored that second touchdown in the third quarter. And then Devontae catches that touchdown pass to give us the lead as the game is winding down. When they blocked that second field goal, and because as soon as the block happens, the game was over, right? Well, then big old Jordan Davis picks this ball up, and there's reports that he was running like 18.5 miles an hour at 330 goddamn pounds.
That's crazy.
So the reaction, the way it's set up in there at the back porch, so like Michelle, me, my buddy Mike that runs the whole thing with me, his wife Angie, and a couple of our other friends sit at like the head table, right? And there's kind of like a railing out in front of us. And then there's what I call the bullpen, which is pretty much all of our OGs. That is pretty much all of our OGs and like every week regulars and stuff like that. And then all surrounding that is all the other tables. Dude, it gets blocked. I jump over the railing. I'm out in front of everybody. Then I turn around and we're all jumping around screaming. And then we all turn around and Davis is sprinting down the field. I mean, Lou, it was a borderline mosh pit in front of that head table on Sunday afternoon.
I can imagine, dude. I can imagine. I'm so proud of what you built out there,
man. It was just nuts.
You guys
we're doing.
And
we're kicking ass out here, dude. It's
Jordan taking it to the house after that block proves that you can have your cake and eat it too. You know?
So, and you've heard me talk about it on here before, right? So Jordan Davis, we did not pick up the 5th-year option on him. So this season is a contract year for Jordan Davis. So he comes into the year some 20, 30 pounds lighter, in better shape. Big shock. He's playing for a contract, so now he's in good shape, right? Great. So I'm thinking the whole time, well, we'll just work him to death, and then somebody else can sign him as damaged goods, basically. He has been nothing short of amazing so far these first 3 games. And yet this past Sunday was absolutely nuts. I mean, the only bummer from an offensive standpoint on Sunday was that we still never really got Saquon Barkley going.
I know.
And so it's been tough sledding for Saquon. So I looked it up. He is facing a stacked box, which is 7 or more defenders in that box, right? More than 7 defenders in that box. He's facing that kind of defense at a higher percentage than any other point in his career. So defenses are not giving Jalen in our passing game any respect at all. None. None whatsoever. And through the first 10 quarters, well, hey, look, I'm going to tell you what, whatever the hell they figured out at halftime, let's do some more of that.
Exactly. That was just beautiful.
We had -1 passing yard in the entire first half of that game against the Rams.
And -1. 33 total yards or something like that?
Yeah, it was awful. And Jalen finishes the day 21 of 32, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Runs for another 24 yards and scores runs for another 40 yards and gets the tush push touchdown.
Well, maybe go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy. Go for it.
Yeah, maybe next week he'll throw for 450 if he can duplicate it in both halves, right?
Well, so what we need to happen here is we need him to come out and be able to sling the ball around so they back off of Saquon. And once that happens, that's when the offense starts rolling and we start crushing everybody.
Exactly. You got to establish that pass to get that running game going. If they're going to stack 7 in the box every time, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, well, I mean, Saquon's numbers, he carries the ball 18 times for only 46 yards on Sunday. They just were not – everyone is coming out with the mindset of we're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. So if Jalen Hurts can perform like that, they're going to have to back off.
All right, well, look, I won't keep you long. I realize you're on a schedule, and I'm starting to get hungry. So I gotta believe they're gonna figure this shit out. Yeah,
I think they figured some things out in that second half, and let's just hope it carries into next week.
All right, brother. Well, you take care and go Birds.
Go Birds, buddy. Great talking to you, man. Thanks for dropping in.
All right, later.
Bye. Lou Mancini coming to us from Phoenixville. Always great to talk to Lou. But yeah, that's kind of the way they have to look at it. They're killing Saquon, right? They're stacking the box with 8, 9 guys, not showing our pass game any respect at all. And the Rams paid for that hard. So did Pittsburgh last year. So did the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I don't understand. Through the first 10 quarters of football, I don't really understand what the hell kind of play calling has been going on. Yeah, I don't know how much more Jalen Hurts has to prove that he can do this. It used to be you ran the ball to set up the run or to set up the pass, play action pass. Well, sometimes that script has to flip, and you need your quarterback and wide receivers to be able to loosen things up so that this defense has to back off some. And then Saquon gets going, and then everyone's in trouble because then you don't know what the hell to defend, right? If Jalen is as efficient, I don't need him to throw for 200 yards every half of football he plays. I don't. If he throws for 2 to 220 and is efficient, accurate, and makes the plays, they're going to have to back off. Take a couple of deep shots. When it's there, they're going to have to back off. And once they back off, here comes Saquon, and now you're in big trouble. Or you continue to play tight And eventually Jalen just takes his shot over the head. And look, I'm sorry, I have said it 1,000 times. There are only 2 wide receivers in today's NFL that should be ranked higher than A.J. Brown. That is Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Okay? Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in football. Jamar Chase won the receiving triple crown last year, which is receptions, yards, and touchdowns as a receiver. So it's hard not to put him too. But outside of that, it's A.J. Brown. And I understand his stats may not stack up against some of these other dudes, but I would like for someone to show me a more deadly 50-50 ball guy than A.J. Brown, okay? He is far too strong for literally every corner in football, okay? The reason why they call him Swole Batman. He's also too fast for pretty much any safety. So it's not like you can bring a bigger guy over for some muscle. He's just going to blow right by him. If teams continue to play that tight and leave that one-on-one out there, and the playbook gets opened up, like it did the second half against the Rams, Jalen Hurts is going to have a field day. And then there's Devontae Smith on the other side. I mean, you saw the catch. 4th and goal from the 5. The game is on the line. Where does it go? Goes to Smitty. Runs the perfect route, gets himself in perfect position, makes the grab, keeps himself inside the pylon. It was a textbook quick out Smitty play. Knows exactly where he is on the field at all times. Knows where his feet and his body have to be. Knows to catch the ball and put it away. Runs the perfect route. That's Devontae Smith. And again, there they are, because they're so scared that we may hand the fucking ball off. They're uptight, and you're one-on-one with Devontae out there. Reap what you sow. Sorry. Now, as jubilant as we have all been, I don't know if the rest of you guys saw what was going on. Well, let me get over to the room here. I was talking to Lou for a few, and I know the room was dropping some comments in. Let me get over here and see what you guys are talking about. Keenan Harmon, Jordan running reminds me of Quimby in a hurry to get to the seats at game time. Quimby's never in that big of a hurry to get the seats at game time. Samantha was going bananas at home. An hour away. That's a little bit of a stretch, but it's not exactly a short drive. Let's see. Keenan, the pass will open up the run and vice versa. Let's roll. Bingo. Exactly. Dev, I booked 2 for Sunday, but I might be solo. That's okay. We'll keep the 2 there, and then if Amanda can come with you, then you're good to go. No worries. Scott Calcaterra, did you see the Bucs sign Desmond Watson, the 400-pound defender, to supposedly stop the tush push? Yeah, that's fine. We'll see. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I am still of the school of thought that they are going to try to officiate this out at some point. I think the Birds tested the waters at the right time on that game. No, Sam, not calling you out, darling. Just messing with you. But I think the Birds tested the waters with the tush push at the right point in that game to start off with. It wasn't just, let's wait till we get to the goal line. And it looked like they ran it a little bit more clean. I didn't see, and I need to go back and watch the film at some point this week. I didn't see the guards shooting ahead of the snap. So it looked like it was a little bit more clean. I didn't see any laundry on the field. So with all of the hyper focus on it throughout the week, I have to feel like if we were doing anything egregiously against the rule, that we would have been flagged for it. So it feels like we ran it pretty clean. Feels like we picked our spots really well, and it paid off. I still believe we need to have some tricks in the bag when we're lined up in that formation for different situations. Let's say, for the sake of argument, we get some refs that call it tighter and start throwing those flags. Or this fat bastard that we're going to have to face on Sunday is successful in clogging up the middle like that. Then you're going to have to find another solution. I would hope that these guys are ahead of that. look, if guys like me and y'all can sit here and we can talk about it and we know that these things should happen, I got to believe Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, the offensive line, I got to believe they all know it's a thing as well. So we're going to go with that. What else? Keenan, Scott, then we better not run at that wall. I would tell you take it right to him. Let's see what Big Pudding's all about. Sam says, can't Jalen squat that guy? Yes, actually, you can. Blue Mancini, he can squat him and his mommy. Nice. But take a look at the overall numbers. The Rams had a good first half, obviously. Second half, not so much. They only put up 7 points in the second half. That came, I think, early, right? Early third. Where are we at here? Yeah. So they're right out of the gates in the second half. So it was kind of like, Jesus Christ, we're down. Now we're down 26-7. And then things turned. So, it was definitely a tale of two halves, obviously. You look at Matt Stafford overall, he was 19 of 33, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, but really not a big stat line to write home about, mostly because we handled his ass in the second half for the most part. Kyron Williams, 20 carries, 94 yards, also 2 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. That is a big game from a halfback against our defense. That is concerning. Puka Nacua got targeted 15 times, caught 11 balls for 112 yards. That guy's a giant pain in the ass. And then Devontae Adams with 3 catches for 56 and a touchdown. So, they were efficient while the game was in their favor, while it was going their way. And then things came off the rails, right? You saw Stafford start to get some footsteps in the second half, overthrowing guys, off target a bit. It happens. Jalen Hurts started the game brutal. Offense in general was brutal. Really, the team in general was brutal in the first half. But like I said to Lou before, Jalen finishes the day 21 of 32, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did get sacked 4 times. But his passer rating was 117.4 at a time when we desperately needed our QB1 to step up and deliver. He once again stepped up and delivered. All right. Another 9 carries for 40 yards and another touchdown. So 4 total touchdowns on the day, 3 through the air, 1 on the ground. He does lose a fumble. That sucks, but nobody's perfect. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 46 yards. Tough sledding. And then the second half, we were down so much. Second half starts before you blink your eye. We're down 19 points. So you couldn't really take the opportunity to continue to try to get the run established. You had to switch gears, and Jalen had to air it out. Receiving on the day, 10 targets for A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 109 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 8 catches on 9 targets, 60 yards, and that massive touchdown at the end. Big Dallas Goedert back in the lineup. Just 2 targets, but one of them was that 33-yard touchdown, the first one in the second half. John Mechie, 1 catch, 8 yards. Jahan Dotson, 1 catch, 7 yards. John Mechie, I don't want to see him on my kick return anymore. That was horrifying. He literally dropped. I'm going to need Britton Covey back. I don't want to put Coop back there. So, but those are your stat lines from the boys. Obviously the second half with Jalen. On the defensive side, like I mentioned before, the Rams did have 4 sacks. Jared Verse had himself a monster game. 6 total tackles, 1 QB hit, 1 sack, and a forced fumble. That's a lot. On our side, here we go again. Zach Bond, 7 total tackles, 2 passes defense. He also comes up with the interception early in the game, which then led to our first touchdown. Cooper DeJean, 9 total tackles. Jihad Campbell, 8 total tackles. Big, bad Jordan Davis, 5 total tackles, 1 for a loss, 1 QB hit, a sack, and of course, the blocked field goal. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling all the way back to put the icing on the cake of that victory. And I tell you what, you're good. Hi, Ellie. Hello. She missed her favorite part of the show, so yeah, she's real upset. I can't stress enough. I dearly wish that somebody had been recording what was going on right in front of our head table. Sam and Scott, you've been there. Dev, you've been there. You know where I'm talking about. There's where Mike and I are always at with our wives and stuff. And then there's that railing right in front of that railing on the bullpen side. It was absolute bedlam. It was insanity. Like, and the more people that came jumping over, I was reaching out, grabbing people, pulling them in. The hat came flying off. Oh man, what an ending to a game. But along with that, I don't know why our Birds want the entire fan base to live in a basically permanent state of cardiac arrest all the time. Here we are again, another season, another series of mini heart attacks. All right, so to put a bow on the game from Sunday, we also got some bad news, and that was in the form of some injuries, unfortunately. So when you look at the roster moves that were made today, I know it looks like a lot because it's all dumped in at once, but we brought Marcus Epps, Cam Latu, tight end, corner Perry Nickerson to the active roster. We put Jacorian Bennett, wide receiver Darius Cooper, and unfortunately, outside linebacker / edge rusher Nolan Smith. Those guys have all gone on IR, which means they're out at least 4 games. The Nolan Smith one is a huge, huge bummer. And the concern is that it's the same injury he had surgery on post Super Bowl. He hurt it again. Now they're calling it just a strain. The IR thing is just a 4-week thing, so hopefully he's fine after that. But so now Zadarius Smith is going to have to level up and take some more snaps out at the edge. The rotation gets a little bit more shallow. So we're about a week. I think we're a week away from the Kobe Dean coming back. So I think what you might see there is Jahad Campbell's versatility. And what I mean by that is Jahad Campbell was drafted so that he can not only play the middle next to Bond and or Dean, but he can also slide out to the edge and rush the passer. So with Dean comes back into the fold, you have Nolan Smith out. You need some depth at the edge. You can get some snaps out of Jahad Campbell off the edge with Dean coming back into the middle. So Darius Smith is going to have to step up, be the veteran, right? To the practice squad, linebacker Lance Dixon, defensive back Eli Ricks, familiar name, and another familiar name back to the practice squad, wide receiver Quez Watkins. I got a feeling John Mechie is on his way out. You can't drop that many on kickoff return and expect to continue being employed. So I think that's what the Quez Watkins thing is. I do not think it's a Jahan Dotson problem. I think it's a John Mechie issue. That and the fact that we were already without, Johnny Wilson, and we've dealt with some other hiccups too. What else are you guys talking about over here? Keenan Harmon. Why did you put Pryor in? Big Fred was what? That is a great point and something I wanted to get to. So, as much as we want to give all the credit to Jalen Hurts and opening up the pass game and stuff, and that's where the credit needs to go, I 100% agree with Keenan's statement. Why was Pryor in there and not Fred Johnson? I know myself, I was screaming it. My friend Josh was right alongside me. Mike as well. When they made that switch to Fred Johnson, the offensive line seemed to calm down. less pressure on Jalen. Things got a little bit more efficient. And so, look, when we brought Fred back, I was thrilled. I hated losing him in the offseason. He not only last season did he back up both Lane and Jordan Mailata, but he also took snaps at guard. This is a guy who understands the system, knows how to block in multiple positions on that offensive line. And let's face it, folks, Lane Johnson's hurt again, and Lane Johnson's not a spring chicken. The smart play is to keep Fred, keep him in the mix. I get it with Pryor. You want to, whatever, you want to give it a shot, but Fred Johnson is easily the better. They look good. That's what you're going to wear tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, very good. We'll talk about it as soon as I'm done, bud. Sorry, guys, that's Liam. He was just putting on what he's going to wear to his first ever job interview tomorrow. We'll talk about that later or another time. But, yeah, when Fred Johnson came onto the field, man, things seemed to settle down and get a little better on that offensive line. So I would expect to see Fred starting this coming weekend against the Buccaneers. But good call, Keenan. I didn't understand it either. Let's see, Russ Taylor. Damn people coming in as I'm trying to watch. Samantha, absolute mosh. Oh yeah, Sam, it was nuts. That was nuts when that field goal got blocked, and then big boy rumbling down the field. Russ Taylor, get Bobby Boucher or Latimer from the program. Oh yeah, Lattimore. I could deal without the steroid issues. Thanks. Russ Taylor, are you gonna be in Philly this year? No, sir. It does not look like I'm going to be coming to Philly this year. We thought about it. We had considered looking to come in for the game. Was it October? Yeah, October 5th. But ultimately, it just didn't work out. What we wanted to do was do it as a group thing, Midwest Eagles Nest. Unfortunately, the way it goes a lot with this group here. Not trying to call anybody out, but these things cost money. And I got quotes on group airfare. I got quotes on a block of hotel rooms. Of course, the tailgate would just be the Green Legion. The only thing I was not going to do was figure out tickets for everyone. You do your own thing. It's impossible at the link to think that we're going to get 10 15 20 people all sitting together. So I left it as, you guys, this is the cost. Pretty much the same breakdown that the Green Legion gives, only we're not a business, right? This was just the cost. One person to a room was going to cost you all this, 2 people, and so on and so forth. You throw the cost out there and it was crickets. So part of me understands, because it's not cheap and you have to fly. I mean, you can drive, but we could have done that too. I could have rented a passenger van and drove everybody out there and back, which would have knocked the cost down some. The hotel is the biggest price. And then, all that price without game tickets, you're talking probably $300 to $400 per seat. Birds are the hottest ticket in the league, and they have been for a while now. I experienced that firsthand working on the tickets for the game against Cincinnati out here. So ultimately, it didn't pan out, and so no, it does not look like we'll be coming to Philly this year. We'll be in Minneapolis, and I will be in Dallas. Yeah. Dallas, I will be with my lovely wife, and Minneapolis, I'm going solo. So, and actually, that one should be. I'm hoping to spend a good amount of time with Kat on that Minneapolis trip. So we're gonna go hit the Nook, get a Juicy Lucy burger. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. I've been out there before. It's pretty good. All right. Anyways, off topic, but good question, Russ. Unfortunately, no, it's not in the cards for us to come this year. Keenan, did you see Quimby and crew on TV Sunday morning? I did not. So when we play 1:00 games, I've usually got to be in the back porch 11:30, 12 o'clock to set up. So my morning is shorter, and you know I'm kind of hustling, bustling. The other issue I had this past Sunday was I drank a lot of beer on Saturday, Saturday and into Saturday night. So I was feeling the effects of that pretty hard on Sunday morning. It was very much a struggle bus for me to get up and get moving. So I was a little out of it. So no, I didn't catch that. What do we got here? Russ, does the Eagles nest have Eagles glasses? Yes, we actually have cups. Can someone grab me an Eagles cup, please? If you would, dear. Shell's working on it for me. Yes, sir. So Mike was able to get these last year. Bud Lights right through his distributor, and Fly Eagles Fly on them. They don't say Midwest Eagles Nest, but these are our cups. There's a whole nother box of them that I think we keep forgetting about that every Sunday. The cups. He's got more cups. Oh, you stat? Is that what this is? This looks new. Leave it to my wife to bogart another sleeve of cups. But yeah, this is what we do. And full disclosure, I'll give you guys a little bit more background. We've got 2 beer sponsorships with the Midwest Eagles Nest this year. One of them is a local. It's called Fretboard, and it's Fretboard Light that is sponsoring us. So we get those 12-ounce cans for $2 a piece. That is $10 per bucket of 5. And then one that should ring a bell to all of you, because it is the official IPA of Citizens Bank Ballpark and of Lincoln Financial Field, is Trug's Perpetual IPA. Normally $7.50 per pint. On game days for us out here on tap at the back porch, it is only $5.50 per pint. So things are going well, man. Appreciate the questions. Back to the birds. Wow, we're freaking in there 50 minutes in already. You want to put a bow on this past Sunday, tie it up nice. Great comeback win. Excellent to see the game, the pass offense open up in the second half. That's going to need to continue going into this week against Tampa to back them off of Saquon Barkley so that our offense can be balanced going forward. The defense now, Jalix Hunt has to step up in snap counts. Jihad Campbell is going to have to do some edge rushing. Darius Smith is going to have to step up there as well. So, and that corner 2 spot is still a problem. That's why Ricks is back in the fold. And they're just going to kind of have to figure it out. Going now, transitioning over to the Tampa game this weekend. Nice segue right into that. We have, Mike Evans is going to be out. So that definitely plays in our favor. I mean, let's be honest here. Find me a better wide receiver over the last 10 years. There's not too many of them. Mike Evans is a shoe-in Hall of Famer. He has been 1,000 yards every single year of his career. He is 6'5", 230 pounds. He is a matchup nightmare on the outside. So him not being there, and they don't have Godwin back. Now, what they do have is the kid from Ohio State that I was very high on in Emeka Egbuka. If any of you follow college football, I don't know how deeply you follow it. I'm a junkie with it. Emeka Egbuka was kind of that number 2 wide receiver at Ohio State when Marvin Harrison Jr. is the number 1, when Garrett Wilson's the number 1, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, all these guys. Egbuka was kind of that blue collar lunch pail. I just pick up my helmet and go every year for Ohio State. Just the epitome of solid at that spot. So my thoughts were that he was going to make an excellent transition into the NFL, depending on where he landed. And he gets drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is an excellent spot for him. So he's going to have Mike Evans on the other side of him for a while. Obviously not for a couple of weeks right now, but overall, Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Bucky Irving is a solid running back out of the backfield. They can block well up front. Defense can be a little up and down, but they are a pain in the ass. And I will tell you, you guys heard my preseason stuff. I feel the same way right now as I ever did. This game on our schedule pisses me off more than any game on our schedule because it is the third freaking year in a row that not only do we have to go to Tampa, but we've got to go there in September when it's still a billion degrees and it's hurricane season. Those of you Green Legion faithful, you know what kind of hell Steph and Quimby and the staff went through last year with the hurricane when the Clearwater Beach got evacuated. They had to get everybody out of there and find other hotel accommodations. Of course, they pull it off because it's the Green Legion and it's the best in the business. But still a pain in the ass. Then you get the game, it's 100,000 degrees. It's humid. It's nasty. Last year's game, we were without Smitty. We were without AJ. Lane went down. Jorgens went down. I think Dickerson was on the sideline for a while, winded because of the heat. It was a shit afternoon. Then we went into our bye week, came out, and just ripped everyone's head off from there on out. But we still have to go there this coming weekend. It's going to be a pain. All right. Road games are never easy. We've done a lot of road cooking over the years, over these last few years, guys. I know I've been on the road for a bunch of them. This game is not going to be easy with or without Mike Evans. Okay. Now it's a little easier without having to deal with that giant menace on the outside. But that's still Baker Mayfield back there. He's a tough kid, knows how to play his position. He's earned the accolades that he gets. I believe he is a top 10 quarterback in this league right now. Lou Mancini, do you think Cleveland regrets the Baker departure? Absolutely. I can tell you the Cleveland fans hated that from day one. You want to talk about a kid? You want to talk about a kid who got a raw deal? This kid. So he's a punk coming out of Oklahoma. Again, right? I was not a big fan. I thought he was a douchebag. Kind of revamped his image in Cleveland, right? Doing some funny commercials. Got over himself a little bit. He leads the Browns to a playoff berth, right? To a playoff victory for the first time in I don't even know how long. And that victory happened to come against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And his reward for that in that offseason was being shown the door in favor of that pervert Deshaun Watson. It's just the factory of sadness, guys. This is just what Cleveland does. Do they regret it? Yeah. I don't know how they couldn't. I know the fans hate it. They hated it then. They hate it even more now. But Baker Mayfield is as advertised. He's tough. He's a great leader. He's got a huge arm for a guy of his stature. The kid's a winner. All right. And, with or without Evans, you are still going to have to deal with Baker Mayfield. You're still going to have to deal with Emeka Egbuka, who, no surprise to me, has come out of the gates like a ball of fire. Now, we'll see what happens without Evans over there, but still a great start. And again, Bucky Irving, nice running back out of the backfield. So they're going to be a handful in their house. So we'll see how it goes there. Keenan, they're going a day early this year to get acclimated to that mic rate. Well, I don't know that you can really get that acclimated. It's so hot. Well, you were down there. It's so humid. Actually, the year you and I were down there, we got kind of fortunate in that it wasn't that bad. The hottest place in the entire area was, I think, right where we were sitting doing that radio show. With Quimby, Irv, me, and Mark from the South Florida Bird Gang at the Parrot Lounge. It was very hot. But yeah, that and it was a night game. So we had the luxury of the sun going down and all that stuff. It's not going to be that way again. Scott Calcaterra, he's a junkyard dog, and every team needs one. Couldn't agree more, brother. Especially when he's your quarterback, leader of the team. The team will kind of take on some of that personality. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I've got Jalen Hurts, so I don't want for Baker Mayfield, but if I didn't have Jalen Hurts, I'd have no trouble I'd have no trouble building my offense starting with Baker Mayfield if I didn't have Jalen Hurts, I guess is the way I would put it. David Loeb in the room. What's up, brother? Go Birds. And David says 21-13 Birds. That might not be a bad call. I'd really like to see this offense continue what they started in the second half against the Rams. Okay? Because that was a Rams defense that did not really back off. Right? They stayed tight, they stayed aggressive because they were scared to death of Saquon. So Jalen had to throw into some tighter windows, crossing traffic and all that shit. It wasn't, he didn't have a soft zone to play against. You're not going to see that out of the gates against the Bucks, right? He's going to have to throw. We need to come out firing, okay? Now again, I know we've got some injuries, and I get it, but I do still think, especially with Mike Evans not being there, I still believe the Birds are the better team, the more talented team. We are on the road in a tough place, but we won there a couple of years ago when Keenan and I were down there. There's nothing saying we can't go in there and do it again. So I expect the Birds to come out with a victory. What I want to see is the pass game come out firing. And I need them to do that so things loosen up front against Saquon. All right? Either that or they don't, and Jalen just picks them apart all game long. Take your pick. We need to get back to where defenses are literally picking their poison. Right? It's it's like the Super Bowl, right? Like how we were tearing teams apart. I talked about it when we signed Saquon Barkley before last season. With the addition of Barkley into that offense that already exists, when everyone's clicking and the play calling is good. Now, let's not act like that's not a thing. When everyone's clicking, play calling solid, I don't really know how you truly. I don't think you can really shut down the Eagles' offense like at all. All right, you might be able to take away a piece. You might be able to stop Saquon just by stacking too much in there. But when everybody's clicking, Jalen can easily do what you saw him do this past Sunday in the second half. It just eats you alive. Because if you're going to play that tight, you're going to end up one-on-one on the outside against my wide receivers, or one-on-one against a Dallas Goedert, or a Grant Calcaterra, or a Jahan Dotson. It's just when everyone's clicking, I don't really think there's a defense designed that can stop it. And the difference between the start of last year when we were pass heavy and then went into the bye week and kind of the offensive line was kind of in Nick's ass, like, hey, look, he signed our golden ticket here in Saquon. Let's run the ball more. And they shifted to that. This year, I think we need to flip that script around. And I think you're going to have to see the Birds come out probably and, take what's there at first, but soften that defense up with some intermediate pass game, get those linebackers and shit to back up a little bit so that Saquon can start to eat too, and the offense gets more balanced. That would be the way I would look at it. Apart from that, from the defensive side, Igbuka is the number one target this week for Baker. Need to get in Baker's ass, right? He doesn't really get rattled that easily. You just got to keep knocking him down. It's really that simple. Without Evans there, just rattle him. Just get in there and knock him around a bit. And you gotta contain Bucky Irving. So that's it. 21-13 is probably not a bad call, David. I would like to see it more 28 to 30 points scored by the Birds. And holding them to 21, 17 to 21. I'd like the double-digit victory, obviously. But overall, I need to see offense better consistently from start to finish rather than first half struggle bus. Then let's go figure it out and hope we can come back and win. Pretty much the size of it. All right. I'm going to quickly go to college football. If this isn't your thing, it was great talking to you. We'll see you again next week. If it is, stick around. I'm going to talk a couple of games here real fast, and then we're going to get out of here. So the schedule for this weekend is actually pretty fun. What do you got here, David? Devontae Smith more and what? Well, Smitty had 9 targets, 8 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown against the Rams. Most of that coming in the second half. So I think it's just about picking up and carrying on with what we were able to figure out against that Rams defense in that second half. I don't think anybody needs to be more involved than they were in the second half of that game. It just needs to be more consistent throughout the course of a game, I guess would be the way I would put it. Saturday football, folks, if this is your thing, if you're interested, it kicks off right at noon. We've got number 21 USC traveling to number 23 Illinois. Right now, the line is USC by 6.5. This game is noon on Fox. Over under at 60.5. This is an Illinois team who got absolutely manhandled against Indiana this past weekend. Indiana talking all kinds of shit like they should be a national title contender. I don't see it, but whatever. I think Illinois was flawed and overrated. I will take USC on the road, and I'd probably give the points too. Also at noon, number 22 Notre Dame, desperately needing a victory at Arkansas. This is noon on ABC. Notre Dame only favored by 4.5, over under at 64.5, showing no respect to either defense. I don't know what to think here. I will be rooting against Notre Dame, as I always do, but it's not going to shock me if the Fighting Irish go in there and just mollywop Arkansas. Then we head to the 3:30 window. Ohio State, number 1 Ohio State on the road at Washington, only favored by 7.5. This game's on CBS at 3:30 with the over-under at 52.5. Interesting on the line there. Ohio State was on the bye week last week. Washington can be solid. Ohio State needs to come out and make a statement, right? They bumped them up to number 1 after the win over Texas, and they've just kind of been sitting there playing a couple of, like everybody does early in the year, not knocking them, playing a couple of shitty teams, and now we're going to go to in the bye week, and now you're on your way to Washington. I'll take Ohio State on the road. I think they're tough enough to go get that done. ABC 3:30, number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. Ole Miss by 1.5, so coin toss over under 55.5. Love to see Ole Miss take that game. I am not a Brian Kelly fan. I have hated that guy's guts since what he did when he was the head coach here in Cincinnati for the Bearcats. I think he's a total douchebag. So I will be rooting for Ole Miss in that one. Auburn on the road at number 9, Texas A&M. Mike Solon, if you're listening, this is a big one for you. Nice SEC matchup against an unranked Auburn team that is still pretty good. Heading to College Station to take on the Aggies. A&M by 6.5 at home, which means neutral site 3.5. 52.5 on the over. This is ESPN at 3:30. I'll be rooting for the Aggies. It's not that I have anything against Auburn, but my best friend is an A&M fan, so we'll roll with that. Indiana on the road at Iowa. I know it's only a 7.5 point spread, but that game we'll be watching. I mean, I'd rather watch cats fuck. What else we got here? Tennessee go at 4:15. Tennessee is going to go on the road. Number 15, Tennessee at Mississippi State, only favored by 7.5. Interesting to keep your eye on that one as Tennessee tries to keep building itself back up after that loss to Georgia a couple of weeks ago. What else? Then we get to the night games at 7:30. We got number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. Between the hedges for this one, folks. Georgia by 3.5 at home. Basically telling you this is a pick'em game. 52.5 for the over. This is 7:30 on ABC. I love watching this matchup every year. And Kalen DeBoer for Alabama, if he goes into Georgia and gets crushed, they are going to start calling for his head down there. They've gotten used to a different style of winning and tradition in football down there in Alabama. If he goes in and loses a close game, you can make the argument, well, they're ranked 5th in the country. It's at Georgia. Got it. But he cannot go down there and get smashed. So all eyes on how Alabama handles that game. And, of course, my favorite game of the day as we wrap up the night here, number 6 Oregon travels to Happy Valley to take on number 3. We are Penn State in the whiteout game. Penn State by 3.5. So, again, 3 for the home team. They're telling you this is a toss-up. 51.5 for the over. This is 7:30 on NBC. Again, the whiteout. I am going to need to see Drew Aller play better football. Even against the Little Sisters of the Poor that Penn State has been playing, he hasn't looked all that great. They played Oregon very well last season. That was with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren has since moved on. The run game should be a heavy focus for Penn State with the two-headed monster of Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Oregon comes in very talented as they are every single year, number 6 overall. So looking forward to a fun college football Saturday as I do every single week. Everything else, you can find some other games there that might be decent. And I'll always keep my eye out for some upsets that may be in the making. But those are the ones I would keep an eye on, folks. And with that, we are going to get the hell out of here. All right? So, come on back again next week. We will talk the game against Tampa. And then we will talk the upcoming matchup against why am I drawing a blank here? Let's pull it up. I can't believe I have to do this. Philadelphia Eagles, Buccaneers, and then is it the Giants? The Broncos. That's right. The Broncos heading to Philly. Sorry, screwed that up. So yeah, come on back again next week. We'll wrap up the talk about the game against Tampa. Talk about the upcoming game against the Broncos after that, and college football boner of the week next week, and anything else that comes across our board. For all of you that came in the room, Lou Mancini, Keenan Harmon, David Loeb, Scott Calcaterra, Russ Taylor, Sam Haley. I want to make sure I want to Dev Fritz, another one of our folks out here. I know Bryant stopped in for a brief second, but that was about it. Guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Remember, the judge is not back in until Monday. This has been the UnHappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family, proudly sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. Take care, folks. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. And as always, go Birds! All right, y'all. That's it. Take care. We love you.